interrupted something, didn't I?
We're never done with the Spock chapel stuff, are we? This is just our lives now. Hello, Internet, I'm Ren, and today I want to talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 5, Through the Lens of Time. Despite some stumbling points that we'll discuss in more detail later, this episode does have a lot going for it, and it is a lot of fun. It's another Star Trek Does Horror episode, and I gotta say, they do it pretty well. It's definitely scary. But we do get to seek out new life and new civilizations, and boldly go, for once. And that's a nice change of pace after spending so much time with stories set on the ship or on more familiar worlds. But let's get into it. This is going to be another one of my low-key reviews, so it's just me, my notes, and my hyperfixation while we break down this episode. This video will also contain spoilers for Strange New Worlds up to this point, as well as potential spoilers for previous Star Trek series, so keep that in mind. The overall conceit of this episode is another simple one. Dr. Korby is back as he enlists the help of Chapel and the Enterprise crew in investigating ancient alien technology, which could have been used to create immortal beings in the distant past, with some unintended consequences. The episode is a blend of fascinating quantum concepts.
Well, technically it's both alive and not. Also, it's not really here.
Indiana Jonesery, and pure unadulterated horror. After poor Ensign Gamble, who finally gets to be a character,
Reporting from the USS Enterprise. I will never get tired of saying that.
barehands a mysterious glowing orb and unleashes an ancient evil. It's got everything. Googly eyes,
It's always looking for the subtext, the heat. Could be why it's focused on us right now.
melting eyes, side eyes,
Fascinating.
Right?
and even some comic relief.
I am more than comfortable around a camera.
Despite its issues, and it definitely has them, I do like this episode overall. It's nice to actually explore a strange new world in a show entitled Strange New Worlds. And the alien tech is super interesting, with Schrodinger's statue, and the away team all being in the same room but on different planes of existence within the alien structure.
It's picking up our biosignatures and placing us all in the same room.
This is layered dimensional space.
The horror elements of the episode really worked for me. It was viscerally terrifying, especially when Gamble's eyes get, like, Ark of the Covenanted, or allegedly ejected, but I don't know, that looked like some melted eyeballs. And after they get him medical attention, the rest of the team just carries on unbothered,
How's Gamble?
He's stable.
We found something. I think this is some kind of register.
as if melting eyes are just business as usual. That said, the Vesda, the ancient evil that escapes the orb, is so scary.
Lucia, what a beautiful name. It's a shame you had to let her go.
Particularly given Pelia's reaction to it.
This thing is older than anything I've ever seen.
Because if you'll remember, she's a long-lived species called a lanthanite, and so she's seen a lot of things.
Whatever it is, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
It also has quite a number of friends trapped on the planet, which it seems determined to set free. So that's great. But it has this terrifying ability to possess people, and it seems to have some level of telepathy.
I never told you about Rukia.
Although what it can glean also appears to be limited, since it does try to use a hostage to get the command codes in engineering.
Senior Officer Command codes, please, or I will kill you.
But the way it just seems to know things is still really creepy.
Your mother, something's hurting her. Her name is Jara.
It can also reach through force fields, and we see it murder a few people. This episode actually has the highest mortality rate in a while. At least 2 extras, including a red shirt, of course, bite the dust. Along with Najal, the away team's local guide into the mysterious jail, temple, tomb, prison structure. He gets blasted by the weird alien technology when he tries to go through the door before Chapel, because apparently order of operations are really important to this thing. And with poor Gamble, it seems like he actually died the moment the Vesda escaped, and was only being kept alive by that thing.
There's no other way to put this. Your brain is dead. Scan shows electrons, neurons, all shut down.
Which is an existential nightmare in and of itself. And it also raises an interesting possibility regarding Dr. Mbenga's daughter, when it asks him if he's sure that the being he saw was actually Rukia, and not just something that ate her, and is posing as her.
Do you think that woman who came to you was really your daughter? Or do you think it was something wearing her skin?
And that seemed to be something a number of fans speculated about when the episode came out. So that's horrifying and deeply upsetting. Unfortunately, as is often the case with Strange New Worlds, some of the more interesting stuff is crowded out with a bit of soap opera-y nonsense, thanks to the weird interpersonal awkwardness between Chapel and La'an.
Look, if you're really worried about Spock behaving around Korby, then just ask him. We're all adults here, right?
And Chapel and Spock.
Why are we always so quiet when we need to talk?
And everyone in Korby, honestly.
Actually, Spock is the senior science officer.
But I don't answer to Starfleet now, do I?
Chapel continues to handle things bizarrely, weirdly approaching La'an as if she has concerns about Spock's ongoing conflict with Korby.
Has he said anything about Roger being here? I know you guys have been getting closer these last months.
Okay.
Spock and I made it very clear with each other. No labels, no complicated expectations. Just fun times.
And when La'an characterizes their relationship as fun, she even asks,
You're good with that?
before, thank God, the scene abruptly ends. And while Spock seems to have some general grudging respect for Korby,
You know, I know you guys are like friends now.
A relative, Dan.
he's still uncompromising in his role as senior science officer in the mission.
Spotty.
This discovery raises the threat level of the mission.
And so there's a lot of conflict between them in this episode, while Spock wants to do things by the book and carefully.
Starfleet protocol clearly states a landing party must alert the ship to any clear and present danger. But nothing dangerous has happened.
And Korby doesn't. And Korby is unbelievably insufferable this episode.
But I don't answer to Starfleet now, do I?
He starts off by basically implying that Starfleet will be incompetent in this archaeological endeavor.
Do you really think that Starfleet is just gonna waltz on in there, phasers blasting, and obliterate a heritage site?
Can you blame me?
And then he goes ahead and ignores basically all the safety protocols. And one of my favorite parts is the alien structure basically asks for a blood sacrifice to get in. And before anyone can do anything, Korby immediately pulls out a knife, probably to do the dumb hand slash thing, where you cut a giant gash in your palm. Terrible place to get a cut, by the way. Have you ever tried to heal a cut on the palm of your hand? Do you know how much your hand moves in a day? Do you know how many nerves there are in this bad boy? Don't do that! Luckily, before he can do the big dumb cut in his hand, Chapel goes and checks what the machine actually wants, and it takes a little tiny pinprick of her blood. So Korby almost just slashed his hand for no reason. Ugh. I liked him in Wedding Bell Blues. I'm not inherently a Korby hater, but I hate this man in this episode. And it just keeps happening. He pushes back on Spock when he wants to go out and reassess when they find a bunch of dead grave robbers that starved to death from being trapped in the thing.
We must exit, report this to the captain, and reassess our investigation.
Hold on a second.
No wondering, hey, maybe we could also become trapped in the thing if we're not careful. He just assumes that he's smarter than whoever those dead bodies are. He's not, by the way. He does not get them out of the situation. Spock and Chapel do. And it is Spock who does the problem solving. Like, even after Najal is blasted into dust and Gamble's eyes are melted, he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't even think about leaving as a priority. He's even reluctant to leave the relics behind.
Roger, leave the relic where it is. It's the only thing keeping us together.
Even though the relics are what enable them to leave. During their wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey escape, when Spock realizes that cause precedes effect.
When Dr. Korby and I were separated, there was a bridge here, and that panel by the door was glowing white, so we must have turned it on.
In this weird quantum nightmare realm.
We must walk across this empty space and turn on the bridge.
Don't do it, Christine. Theoretical doesn't mean you can just go and walk on air.
And this does make sense given his eventual fate in What Little Girls Are Made Of. He just doesn't know when to stop and when to perhaps use some safety protocols. That said, he's not the only one with no sense of self-preservation. They're all pretty clueless and weirdly lacking in common sense in this episode. Like, Chapel freely gives her blood to ancient alien tech that they have no understanding of, no questions asked. And everyone keeps bare hand touching literally anything they can get their little mitts on, despite the previous eye melting they witnessed with Ensign Gamble. Spock even, lifts a little visor thingy to his eyes and doesn't immediately retreat when he sees one of the glowing orbs that exploded Gamble's eyes rising towards him. It's nuts. I just can't imagine watching someone's eyes melt in a tomb thing that you're in and then picking up another random artifact and holding it up to your face. Bruh. And speaking of Gamble, this episode features one of my least favorite New Trek tropes of finally letting us get to know a criminally underutilized side character in an episode that's slightly focused on them.
My first official research mission on an alien planet. I've been dreaming of this since I was first accepted to Starfleet Academy.
Before immediately getting rid of them, usually by killing them off. Gamble really got the Arium treatment, and I'm a little bit mad. Justice for Arium, justice for Gamble. They both deserved better. Because Gamble was so likable.
The idea that ancient man's fascination with resurrection and reincarnation could all be based on forgotten technology?
We barely got to see him in the first several episodes of this season, but the moments that we did, he seemed really sweet and kind and generally excited about his job. And in this episode, his enthusiasm for the away mission, for the science, for being on the Enterprise is so charming and so infectious.
Good, so you won't be late.
Late for what?
The mission brief. The landing party is meeting soon.
A landing party?
He's just so stoked to be there.
I'm sorry, I'm just so excited.
And you can see even from Mbenga's reaction that he's kind of a breath of fresh air, just so eager to learn. And I don't know why I didn't see it coming. I had been kind of excited to get to know this character, and man, I'm just disappointed. It was his first away mission. It was his time to shine.
And now it's my time to shine.
And the sweet relationship he had with Mbenga was so adorable. I was so excited to see that grow. Because Chapel's so capable, it's not as much of a mentor-mentee relationship with her. They're on a more equal footing. Whereas with Ensign Gamble, he's still so green and has so much to learn that there really was that kind of mentor-mentee element, and we just barely got to see it. We got like 2 minutes of it, probably less. And that blows. I just don't know why they bother introducing these characters with so much potential, usually played by wonderful actors, and then they just cast them aside. Why? What, you couldn't just develop a random red shirt for this episode? I don't understand. What happened to the disposable one-episode side character instead of the ones that I'm excited to get to know from seeing them in the background in several episodes? Is it because they're scared to ever kill a main character? Because fair, but I like the side characters to live too. You can slightly develop a random extra, and I promise I'll care if you kill them, but give the side characters a chance! It's also really sad because this is completely Mbenga's fault, because Gamble wouldn't be there if Mbenga hadn't specifically asked to extend his time on the Enterprise.
I put in a request for Starfleet Medical to make your transfer permanent.
Wait, please tell me this isn't a cruel joke.
And if he hadn't specifically assigned him to that away mission. Although, I do think it's a little bogus that they kind of blame him for his own death.
He wasn't ready for away missions.
Because, let's be so real, all he did was what everyone else was doing, which was bare hand touching everything. No one in Starfleet appears to have heard of gloves or any other tools with which to pick up and examine things other than your little grabbers. I don't see what he did wrong other than be there and touch thing, and everyone else was there and touching things. But I digress. Irrespective of its flaws, this episode does leave us with some intriguing, lingering questions. First, there's definitely an implication that this alien technology might have had something to do with the origins of the Q.
Ancient astronauts?
But we don't know, but they claim to have achieved immortality.
One of the relics may have been found on the old homeworld, where Trelane spotted Dr. Korby digging,
Spotted him digging in the dirt in the old homeworld.
and recognized how annoying he is. And we know to a point the Q are functionally immortal, so it makes sense they could have traveled there seeking immortality, and the continuum and those Vesda things is what resulted.
This word, it means parasites or hitchhikers, and this word, it means well.
That said, I hope they don't explore that in too much detail. I actually think it's a good thing to keep the origin of the Q vague. We don't actually need answers to every question in the Star Trek universe. Part of the fun is speculating about it and filling in the blanks yourself. Another question is, what was the deal with Batel's primal recognition of and response to the Vesda? Because based on the subsequent and immediate violence, and the fact that she referred to it by the same name as the Macroon, the people who live on the planet where the technology resides.
What's he saying?
Danger. Not danger. Evil.
There's clearly something more going on between the Vesda and the Gorn.
In fact, if you were paying attention during Shuttle to Kenfori, or during the recap in this episode, you may have noticed that the creature Spock and Batel saw during the mind meld is the exact same creature that Spock saw here in the orb on the surface of the planet. So that indicates that not only was this foreshadowed, but also that the history of whatever this is and the Gorn long predates whatever was going on in this episode.
Also, is it just me, or is Feral Batel hot? This is probably the most interesting she's ever been, and I am actually really enjoying her weird Gorn fusion character arc, despite it forcing Pike to have more screen time. But either way, based on the hint that the Vesda is not going to remain quietly in the pattern buffer, I think we're going to see another confrontation between them, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more elaboration then. It's also worth noting that she and Najal both refer to the Vesda as Vesda Pa. So maybe there's some kind of connection to the Pa raids. There is some commonality in terms of what seems to be a sinister energy being with the ability to possess people. But who knows, maybe it's just a coincidence. It's also never explained why La'an finds Mandarin characters on one of the consoles in the alien structure.
Chapel, why is there an Earth language in your ancient dig site?
So there still seems to be a lot to unpack both regarding that structure and its involvement with various species across the universe, perhaps. So I am definitely curious to see how it all shakes out. But some other miscellaneous thoughts I have are that Beto and Uhura are extremely cute. I love their little flirtation. Although having a random documentarian around for all sorts of missions seems a little bit flimsy, I feel like they could have maybe given him a more believable civilian career to work him into a few episodes if they want to keep him around. But it's fine. He does use the camera for plot things in this episode to sort of investigate the different rooms in the alien structure before they enter them. And I do actually like that he gets way more freaked out about this whole thing than Uhura does, and we see Uhura calm him down.
We are going to find our way out of this. Just breathe.
It's both a sweet interaction between them and kind of a reversal of what you would probably see in a TOS episode. Chapel needs to grow up and stop making things so weird. Like, it feels like she's got some kind of tension with La'an for getting involved with Spock, even though she threw him away like he was hot garbage and immediately moved on to someone else. And it feels very odd to kind of put her in the middle of anything involving the two of them when she was not privy to or involved in that situation.
No, you guys have been getting closer these last months. No, this is why I don't do this. Please don't make it weird.
And I just wish Chapel would handle things just better.
I am glad to see you and Lieutenant Noonien Singh spending more time together.
The awkwardness with which she tries to talk about the Roger thing with Spock in the turbo lift is excruciating.
She is an excellent dance instructor.
That too.
And poor Gamble has to endure the awkwardness as well, which we now know is one of his last moments, poor little guy.
I interrupted something, didn't I?
Pelia is a lot of fun in this episode. They finally brought Carol Kane back in.
I am more than comfortable around the camera.
No, she still basically doesn't do anything in engineering. In fact, the only real engineering talk still goes to Scotty. But her comic relief is on point in this episode. That said, she's ultimately the one who stops the Vesda by shooting Gamble when he's got Mbenga at gunpoint. I do still wonder where exactly the phaser came from. Is she just always packing since the Gorn attack? Either way, her ominous speech at the end is fantastic.
Nonsense. There is evil in this universe, as sure as there is good.
There seems to be lots of objective evil in Trek lately, which I have mixed feelings about, because I do like the reason with the alien and find out you have things in common or figure out how to communicate with it and what it wants plots as much as the next guy. However, with the current global rise of fascism, I do think it's important to tackle the idea that there is objective evil and malevolence in the world, and that it needs to be confronted head on and recognized for what it is.
If any of those things ever escape that well down there, God help us all.
So, fair enough. But that's all I have for you for now. What did you think of this episode? Were you scared of the Vesda? Were you as sad as I am about Ensign Gamble? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. See you next time. Wiedersehen.
You want one for the camera?